Greetings to you all, and I welcome you to this broadcast. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Of course, as I always ask you when you join, please indicate to me if you hear me clearly and see me clearly. Um, I have to, of course, it's a working day for me, and I was awakened last night by individuals who were concerned about the fact that Francis Bailey, one from whom I would expect a lot better, was on a broadcast speaking to what he called the truth, and he was seeking to present to the public the truth. Now, the reason why I can laugh about this is that I don't know why some people do certain things to themselves. Like, man, listen, we too grown for this, man. We all listen. I'm a grandfather, 51-year-old grandfather, and it could be because I'm getting old. I, I find some things laughable because it cannot be that in an age where I always tell you all this is an information sharing age, and that's an information age. That's why you have a share icon on your screen. As I would say to you this morning, share the broadcast, share the live, as they would say. I don't say share the live, share the broadcast. Man, and I speak as a guy in this morning. Oh man, if you are in an information sharing age, for heaven's sake, just remember that information can be sent or transmitted across many platforms and to as many people as possible. And it has a source, so it comes from somewhere. So if you and I are in a conversation in reference to chatting privately, you will have your side of your information. I'll have the same, unless you use AI to alter on your end something, but I still have a record of the original. Because there is an app now to tell you if something has been generated by AI or influenced by the same, which is artificial intelligence. Man, Francis, please, this is becoming boring because it is impossible for you, Darwin, Sour and Scarce, who's known as Ricardo Scarce in social media, probably Nicholas, whoever. It's impossible for y'all to be aware of the fact that of all people, you would include my name or man's name. People who are known to be integral. There is never AD, as you would call it. Let me know if it's better, please. Or really, really sorry the sound. Is it good? Still no sound. Hmm. All right, hold on. Sound is back. We good? Ah, excellent. Wonderful. All right. So let me just repeat what I've said. Maybe you were supposed to say the first part. It is painful, man. Listen, and the reason why I keep laughing is because I cannot fathom putting that. I cannot comprehend how in the world we can be in an information sharing age. We share information. Oh man, I don't want to be proper in English this morning. Oh man, if you know that I can share information, you can share information. Why in the world would we take the social media to do these things, Francis? Now, Francis, you were cloaked with uh, a robe of being one who does this research, and that's why people I think would listen to you, and that's what brings me here. Because persons would know that you would go to AI or wherever you'd go to and you'd extract information, go out to the field, you prove things when you say it. So the thought would be, therefore, that Francis is credible, hence when Francis speaks, you should believe him. The unfortunate reality is, Francis, is that once you come to say that you're here to speak the truth, do that. I am telling you that for as long as you come forward to say that you're here to speak the truth, do that. Ensure that you do that. Okay, we see if we can solve this Wi-Fi business for y'all. I'll take my time to see how this works. I'm also monitoring the broadcast of mine, all right? I'm trying to monitor over here. I wouldn't be able to monitor sound.
All right. Let's try this again. I should be at work. This is what has me in this frame of mind. I'm supposed to be at work. Work is already headed to the site. Tell me, once is good, we shoot for the stars here now. Actually, we go intergalactic, and the laundromat is open. Because I'm not dealing with this nonsense. Y'all are too grown. You are old men. Older. You are men clamoring to fight a woman. No. Now, listen to this. And I repeat this throughout this broadcast for you to understand exactly what the issue is. If you're to examine the composition, now pay careful attention here, please. The composition of the opposition. So the opposition now again is not one party. The opposition in this case is 3 parties. Understand this, and you know that I will teach for as long as I have to. The opposition side of the House of Assembly, we call Parliament, is now 3 or tripartite. It's We Invest in Nationhood. They have the greatest number of seats. APNU, second, and then Ford Ghana Movement with the 1 seat. All right. This 1 seat story. Now, in this situation, let us understand what is called the dynamics of this House of Assembly. Brothers and sisters, enemies and friends, V-PAC comrades, for the first time in our nation's history, apart from when we just began with the PPP, which means Barnum and Chetty would have just started. We have Azadin Mohammed, who would likely be the official leader of the opposition, having 0 minutes in the House of Assembly. No experience whatsoever. Okay? None. Terence Campbell, who leads the APNU or the PNC's side or team of 12, has 0 minutes in the House of Assembly, never spoke as a parliamentarian. Are you all following me so far? Because this is the most important aspect of this discussion. Arsidin Mohammed, 0 experience. Terence Campbell, 0 experience. None. There is only one individual, therefore, in terms of leaders of the 3 parties in the House Assembly on the opposition side, who has one entire cycle of parliamentary experience, 5 years of it, Amanza Walton Desir. Now, as they would say, I could drop the mic if some people who would be on this broadcast had common sense, because they didn't have to say anything else. That alone should raise all alarms. For people to say, oh my God, this is very, very important to consider. So I'll say it again for the slow ones. Azudin Mohammed has no experience. Wayne Ganesh is not leader of the PNC side. So I'm saying to 3 leaders. Wayne has a leader. Aubrey sent Terence Campbell as the leader. I didn't say that it's in the media. It's press. It's out there. Amanza Walton Desir is the person in the House of Assembly. She's leader of the Ford Ghana movement. It is therefore imperative for you all to understand something here. That among the 3 leaders of the 3 parties in the House of Assembly, Amanza is the only person to have ever stood in the House of Assembly for 5 years. Does it not tell you something? Why do you think then? Now look back, take a step back, as they would say. Look inside and see what could be the cause of V-PAC hoping to just start fighting and carrying on and doing this. Because y'all don't do this. Don't get me upset this morning. I'm on the nice side. I just got up, so be nice. Be careful. All right? Nobody's going to come to social media and do what they're seeking to do to Amanza Walton Desir, and you're expecting to be quiet. And don't tell me that it doesn't look good for Ford Ghana movement, because you do not know what looks good and what looks bad, apparently. What you're not accustomed to is the new culture of politics. That's what you are. You would go to tell me that the PPP keeps things quiet. Well, let me talk about that before I move on, because some of y'all need to have a breakfast moment with me here. Let me make it clear to you. You all want to say that's why the PP succeed? No. The People's Pathetic Party succeed because they are a cult in nature. They are dangerous. When Dharmlal was accused of raping the little girl, did any one of them come forward and say, listen, this is wrong, this shouldn't happen, and expose it? Since you want to go there with me, is that the kind of politics you want us to play over here? Where behind closed doors, somebody is accused of raping somebody, threatening somebody, harming somebody, bullying somebody. We keep it behind closed doors? Hell, I'm trying to be nice to you this morning. Don't do it. I do not care about political party when I care about people. I tell you that, because a party is people. But when you eliminate humanity from a party, it becomes an entity that's dangerous, because this structure, this institution matters more than an individual. Not over here. No joking, Alexander. Jaquan. Priya didn't come out and say anything. Priya said that she was many voices brought the story to the fore. Y'all stop your foolishness, man. So the people did not expose Dharmlal. Shh, don't do it. Not this morning. Keep your fingers off the screen. The PPP never exposed their own. And you want me to say that over here, on this side of the fence, we should be operating like that in Ford Ghana movement, where when things are done that are so dangerous, we don't say anything? You were kidding me. So I want you to consider again, why do you think now, when the PPP assesses the opposition side, they realize that there's only one person with experience who leads the three, any of the three. Asidin has no experience. Terence Campbell has no experience in the House Assembly. Only a man has 5 years. So they know that if we attack, smear, defame, and destroy this person's character, then the opposition has nobody who people listen to. Do you understand? So what am I here to do this morning? To show you what Francis, or what you call B-Man, called the truth. Because I thought that you didn't know. Francis said that I came on this platform and accused him of things. I said, you know me by now. Let me begin with what I said about what Francis would have done. And that's all I spoke to. This right here. Those of you who want to come and defend Francis, is this acceptable? Ashamanzik is soon 2.0 now loading. Very soon, very shortly, if you know, you know. Is this acceptable? Anyone who wants to accept this, Francis Michael Bailey is with V-PAC, and he posted this. Is this acceptable? Since he's innocent, he never spoke to this. Actually, just brushed past it, knowing what he did. So I was protecting Francis all along, you know, but I'm not doing this anymore because he crossed a very dangerous line. Is this acceptable behavior? Let me put the facts on the table here. If Francis he never said anything bad about a man until last night, but he posted this before. Is that the truth? He had some Richie South last night. Now, I'm showing what he posted days ago. Is this telling the truth? Because is this something good he's saying here? And you all women on this broadcast who are speaking this way about a man's, I am ashamed for you. You're disgraceful and I talk about you all in the worst way. You are sick and you're psychotic and stupid. There is no way that you could be a female and watch a woman be treated this way by men. And you're all accepting that? You're all disgrace to femininity. Is this not a shame that a man has to be here doing what I'm doing? And you all don't want this to be done to protect this woman's image? This is disgraceful. Howard Leps, you all are too slow for me, brother. Is Natasha Singh Lewis the leader of WIN? Man, go drink some bush tea, come back. Because this is hurting my head. Y'all don't like when I be nice? You cannot be this ordinarily stupid. I said there are 3 leaders of the 3 parties. Azadin Mohammed, as far as I thought, was the leader of WIN, unless Natasha Singh is leading WIN. Is Natasha Singh Lewis the official leader of the opposition? Some of y'all too grown to be this silly. Think before you type. I said of the 3 leaders who have been sent, Terence Campbell was sent to lead the PNC side, or the APNU side. Gosh, man. So let's come back to Francis. This is what Francis, he said up until last night, he never said anything negative about Manza. Well, is this positive? Because it was said about 3 days ago. He lied then. He came to tell the truth, but he lied. Because this is the line number 1. So you all tell me as females on this broadcast whether this is acceptable. Good. Next. I'm going straight to the point, and the jugular, because I don't have time for nonsense. In Francis's broadcast, he said that V-PAC insisted on transparency in terms of financial transparency. And that's why he was booted out of some group. But I wasn't in the group, so I don't know. So I cannot speak to that. But what I speak to here and have the world see is what is called in law clean hands. In the court of law, it is a very basic science. If your hands are clean, you could talk in the court. Meaning, if you know that you are right and you have no dirty, no soiling of your character and your story, you could talk. But the lawyers will say, Your Honor, this person, the hand isn't clean. The hands are not clean, Your Honor. Okay? Now, so the question is, do we have clean hands on the part of V-PAC? Let's examine the facts here. So I'm here to present you with what I call all the time irrefutable evidence. Permit me to pull this up on the screen for you. It may be the wrong side until I find the right one. But just give me a second, let me find it. And I might be in my larger screen before me, so not that one. When I get it right, then I'll tell you. Ah, there it is. There it is. Francis spoke about financial accountability. All right? Now be man. Be man. Man, come on, man. Y'all look at the screen, please. This is a missive, all right? This came from the best in V-PAC. Remember that I called and I said, let's have a conversation because the elections are over. We now need to discuss how we go forward, seat allotments, everything we talk. If anybody has a problem, we talk. That's what I said. Darwin agreed. I traveled to Georgetown the first time and he never showed up in conversation. So all the whining, yap, he never came for us to have the conversation. I was on the phone to Darwin and the Manza. And they can both attest to that. And I said, I'm coming to Georgetown because the elections are over. They've announced the result, and I was on Thursday. I said, I will be in Georgetown this afternoon, Darwin. Let's talk. You, Amanza, and me. No Darwin. But V-PAC put this out here. Are you all seeing? Well, let me read it for you then. Financial contributions and transparency, because Francis said that Ford Ghana movement, you're not transparent, you're opaque, you obfuscate, you hide things, and you want detailed. Okay, well, let's see. This is what Darwin Best said. It has been implied that V-PAC has not carried its fair share of financial responsibility for the record. For the record, it's between 4 to 5 million in direct campaign costs. Look at what Darwin spent his money on for a 6-week campaign, by the way. He spent 4 to 5 million on meetings. He spent money on meetings, transportation, meals, legal support, cleaning, and logistics. Man, Francis. There's a receipt at Forward Ghana Movement's headquarters still waiting to be picked up by Darwin Best for a donation given by someone for him to deliver. of $2,500, the equivalent. This is painful, man. Listen. Oh my God, this is so wait. V-PAC, the leader, said he spent 4 to 5 million. Now I don't know how you account for 4 to 5 million. I thought it was an exact figure they were keeping a record on V-PAC side. But can you tell me how in 6 weeks Darwin could spend 4 to 5 million on meetings, legal support, who with legal support? Cleaning of what? So oh my God. No transparent mechanism. No transparent mechanism has been put in place for reporting or accounting of donations, finances, despite repeated requests. Man, now you see where I have a problem. Because if there's no mechanism, according to what V-PAC said, there's no mechanism put in place. Francis, what is this? So let's go to the screen here. There's no mechanism, said V-PAC. All right. So you have before you a close out, and yourself, Francis, must make a mockery of this aspect because he knows this is very the both sound, right? Item number 3 of the agenda, financial reports. Now, if we're going to be clear and we're going to be honest, would you not expect V-PAC to come now with their record to show how they expended, how Darwin expended for this so-called $4 to $5 million? How do you spend as a person 4 to 5 million on meals? So Darwin fed the 60 because there were never more than 25 of us or so on the road. That's why he said it with limited human resources. Yahweh knows how this. I don't know how this happened. The strength that was given to people to just move and move and move all the time and work. I cannot believe somebody will say this. So you have a record here to show where there was room for financial reports. V-PAC never showed up because I'm waiting for Darwin to say what to show a record which will have invoices and receipts. Why am I doing this? Because I hope that this would cause Francis, Darwin, and others to stop and realize that you don't do this to people. You don't. This social media space is not good for doing certain things. And as much as some of you are saying that this doesn't look good, it looks perfect to me to show you all how I operate and how Ford Ghana movement shall operate and the people's movement will operate. We don't tolerate foolishness like this. I don't care who you are. Did I not tell you again that even if you are in government and I found Amanza, Darwin, Francis, or anybody to be dishonest and taking underhand deals, I said that I will come and tell it. I'm not playing with this. No, don't tell me no private meeting. Guyanese didn't vote for us to be disgusting, for us to be dishonest and untrustworthy. You're not doing this. Even if we have 2 votes, I'll come and do this because this is not going to go down right. I don't play this. A good name is to be preferred above rubies. That is what I live by. All that I have in this life, said my grandfather, Walter London, Banks London, told me as a child, he said, boy, you could have all the money in the world, but if your name is not good, people will never, ever look up to you as a person, respect you. I learned as a child. He said, ensure that throughout your life, your name meaning your reputation. They could talk, but they must never have anything to hold over your head. That's why I come and talk about me. Now, in our discourse, or in Francis's discourse, he said that they didn't have a chance. They were saying about that there was an agreement. No, they said there was this agreement, and Amanza unilaterally jumped and broke her agreement. And some of y'all jump. I don't want to call you silly because you don't know the truth. But those you know the truth and just want to defend idiocy, you stupid. Because it doesn't make any sense as a human being. It's very silly for you to just, because you hate Amanza, hop on the side of people who are not telling the truth. It doesn't make any sense. Hate her, but at least have some facts to support what you're saying. And don't jump and support people blindly because they hate whom you hate, or they're not attacking who you dislike. It doesn't make any sense. So V-PAC, Francis Bailey said that they were making repeated attempts to have this matter resolved. Oh, let's see. Okay, so then let's see what happened regarding this meeting. Remember, I told you all that I called on the Thursday to say we need to have a conversation. Elections are over, Claudette, and those announce the results. All right, here's what we have to do. We'll talk about how we move forward. Okay? I hope that once V-PAC or Francis recognizes what happens when evidence is presented, they will stop this nonsense. Because I'm going to come back and deal with this again. Once I show you all this part of it, I'm done. Because there are many things for me to do, for the Ghana movement to do, that does not include this nonsense. Let me show you. This right here. Let's start with this. Do you see between Darwin and Amanza's head what Darwin and V-PAC, Francis included did? Look at that. You put a snake behind a female, and you all ladies on this broadcast say, chopping your mouth about your fingers about stupidness. Which man does this to a woman? So Amanza has been exposed according to them for bullying, dishonesty, and opportunism and betrayals, and they put a snake behind her. What is V-PAC saying? Y'all are looking at Ford Ghana movement. This is V-PAC's behavior. So this is okay again. So Francis is innocent. This is what you do to a female. No, I'm going to be very harsh on some women if you don't stop in nonsense. You know. Darwin, I have lost all respect for you. Don't even say anything to me after this. Because there's a limit to what I accept from men. Unless you're coming to me to have this matter put to rest by your apologizing publicly, you have nothing to say to me. Francis Bailey, you have absolutely nothing to say to me. So after calling her a snake and all the rest of it, let's see what happened. Remember they said there was this disagreement. So Darwin sent, let me show y'all. I believe in evidence. Image number 1. And please pay careful attention to what I'm doing here. Look at this. You see a date here, right? September 22nd. Do you see that? Pay attention. There's a date there. All right. September 22nd, which is when, because the date on the agenda was wrong, it was amended. So this should have been September 22nd, Monday, September 22nd. Do you see something here? So the exact date of the meeting is when this came to say that they not attend any meeting. So you have the agenda, which should be the 22nd, because this was sent days before. But I want to show you all something. Look at this one. Look at this one. Look at this one. Forward V-PAC, right? For New Guyana. Look who sent to. Amanza Walton, the zero leader for Guyana. Niger London, leader of the People's Movement. FGM Executive Committee. And listing signatories. Look, it's CC, Coach copy to Legal Counsel, FGM. General Secretaries. This is what Darwin Best said, Francis said, and others. I consulted with the General Secretary of the People's Movement, who said that she never received any correspondence. But V-PAC, who's telling the truth, said here that they sent this to the General Secretaries. When the People's Movement General Secretary has never received this, okay, party financial officers, et al. Et al. Means and others. So, and others is no limit. Was it sent to Barrett? Was it sent to Irfan? Was it sent to Anil Nandlal? Was it sent to Terence Campbell? Because et al. Is anybody. But I want you all to see here. Subject, urgent meeting agenda. Urgent meeting agenda. No date. No date. So I said, wait, how do you send me a letter that's official without a date attached? Now I'm troubled here. How does these people are so astute when it comes to propriety and order? Because some of you are going to learn this morning. You're going to learn today. How do you send a letter with no date? It was deliberate. Because what they will do now is to say that, listen, we asked you all for a meeting and you never showed up. They wouldn't say that they never attach a date. So how would you know when these things were sent? Let's see what it says. You would love to see this. Esteemed colleagues, I'm reading for you all. The 2025 national elections have delivered for the Ghana movement. You all listen carefully. Remember, Francis said that Amanza tricked him essentially and lied and all the rest of it. Well, let's see who told the truth here. Because V-PAC were told they're going to have a seat, and now they reneged, or a share of the seat. Let's see here. We have a single but consequential seat in the National Assembly. That result, achieved through a joint list and public campaign, listen to this, places a solemn responsibility upon the three signatory entities, for Guyana, the People's Movement, and V-PAC, to agree, listen to this, with transparency, how we will govern our coalition, allocate our parliamentary representation. There's an urgent meeting requested, and the agenda is here, they're saying, to discuss how we will allocate our parliamentary representation to the people of Guyana over the 5-year term. This is what was sent when I said, and I'll show you, because I don't know how to play with y'all. And play Francis is nonsense. Or anybody. Don't do this. Do not do this. This is when I said, okay, Darwin, because I'll show you the rest. We need to have, because this came, and y'all tell me how honest and upright this is. What you just saw on the screen came after I would have requested the meeting, and Darwin never showed up. How pure is one's intention? If I call and say, listen, let us have this conversation, Darwin never came. Only to be met with when I was in Babis, that's when that letter came there, that agenda story. How is this okay? For me to say, let us meet, Darwin never shows up. And then Sunday, the Thursday I said, let's meet. I drove to Georgetown, Darwin didn't come anywhere. I went on my way to Babis. When I was in Babis now, I got information that there's some letter sent in the group, this thing here. So I said, no, this cannot be. This cannot be. Because I am not aware of any meeting or Darwin having sent any correspondence to anybody. But though that happened, this is what I did. Let's deal with the facts this morning. As I said, the screen is small because I'm using my major device. So I'm going to just get the right image and speak to it because there are quite a few of them. Okay. Look at this carefully, please. This one here. This is the right. Look at this. You see, Mans is asking if choose is good for him. Why? Let's see why. Y'all, please pay attention carefully here. Pay careful attention. September 15th. Look at the date. Greetings, awaiting word on venue. You know why? So this tells you that somebody had to give a venue, correct? So if a man says that she's awaiting word in the venue, it means that they had to be in a venue named at some point. I said, so am I. I remind you again that I have to travel from Linden. So look at this. Look at this one here. Is Tuesday good for you? If so, please advise on venue for meeting. So you see Amanda, look at Amanda's tone here. You see that? Darwin said confirmed in circle, I will revert with venue because if V-PAC requests an urgent meeting, as you just saw, they need to tell us where they want us to meet. Common sense. So just tell us where we meet, and I said I'll be there. Look what happened on the 15th. I said, Darwin, I am awaiting word on the venue. Please remember that I have to travel. Do you see that? Please remember that I have to travel. Does it seem as if we had a meeting? I hope you all have common sense and answer. So there was no meeting. Do you see here I'm saying, listen, Amanda is also saying, give us the venue, we'll have the meeting. Darwin said, I revert to the venue. Okay. Let me show you what came. Maybe to find the right screen. Look at this. Look at the respect here. So you see evidence where you're saying, just tell us the venue, we're waiting for the venue, give us word as to when we're going to meet. Nothing. Look at the disrespect here. So you see reschedule coalition leadership meeting and agenda. You see this is on the screen. This is what you call evidence. Okay, St. Francis was telling the truth. Who's it sent to? You see that? Amans Walton is here, and then the et al. And all that. So let us see the reschedule coalition. Why would they reschedule? Urgent. Subject is urgent. Rescheduled coalition leadership meeting. Why would they reschedule? Because obviously, okay, esteemed colleagues, esteemed colleagues, circumstances beyond our control have made it impossible for us to meet. Do you see that on the screen? I'm just reading what is on the screen. Francis said, what he said. I'm showing you where Darwin has said that circumstances beyond our control have made it impossible for us to meet the originally proposed deadline for a coalition leadership meeting with V-PAC. We get the inconvenience that this has caused, particularly given the urgency of the issues before us. Now, wait a second. Why would they say this if you just saw, I'm saying, give us the venue. Amanda is saying, we are waiting word on the venue. But there's something important for you all to see here. No response from a revert with the venue. You see evidence where someone is asking to give us the venue. Give us the place we're going to meet. Give us the details of the place we're meeting. I just showed you, right? Because it's all over my screen here. Provide us with the venue. Look at what I've said. I am still awaiting at Darwin. I am still waiting. I'm awaiting word on the venue. Please remember that I have to travel. No, don't tell me to put anything to rest. This here is what men do. We're going to be honest, Francis, and if you're going to be honest, or just relax and let this move. Have a private conversation, have this dealt with, which is what we were suggesting. You can see there. Let us talk. How much more do you want somebody to do? If I'm saying I'm awaiting the details on the venue, Amanda said we're waiting details on the venue. Just tell it straight to me. Darwin hasn't said anything, but they came now to say, listen, we're rescheduling. How do you reschedule if you had a meeting? No. Why is this being done? Because we have to be honest people. We have to be honest. At all costs, let us be honest and decent. Don't play games with people's lives. The said delay, that said, the delay may in fact allow us to strengthen the process. The initial request circulated by V-PAC contained a comprehensive agenda for draft protocols, but it is clear that coalition partners require adequate time to fully review, debate, and where necessary propose changes and so on. So you're seeing here where V-PAC sent a correspondence. Nobody refused to meet. Let us go forward to some more evidence, because we're telling the truth today before I leave for work. So let's see the agreement part here. We get the agreement they all talk about in a minute. Look at this. Reschedule coalition partners. So now they're showing in this letter, I'm showing another excerpt of it, what V-PAC sent. So if Francis suggests there was an agreement, let us see what they sent here. Because you tell me if you have an agreement, why you send this part of it. Number 2, part 2. Interim seat allocation. So you have 2 options. So let me show you here. The 5-year term divided into 3 equal 21 blocks. Each party occupies 1 block. Look at this. Order of 1 block. Order of rotation to be agreed. Order of rotation to be agreed and recorded. Now, you all who are asking for evidence about this thing, it's on your screen, unless you're slow. What do you notice here? Do you not see V-PAC is saying, this came from V-PAC, that they want to have a meeting. Look at the heading here, reschedule coalition leadership meeting and agenda. What do they want to discuss? Because agenda, not agenda, is agenda. Each party, they're suggesting here what we're going to discuss. Each party occupies 1 block of the 20 months. The order of votation to be agreed and recorded. Provision for substitution in cases of incapacity, resignation, or misconduct. Details to be lodged with coalition legal counsel. These things give me a headache, and that's why I'm having difficulty talking to you all this morning, honestly. Man, you'll tell me, please, for the sake of my sanity, why would a political movement called V-PAC send an agenda proposing that we have a discussion about this, whether you go to the arrangement where you divide among three and so on? Why, if it were an agreement that was made, why do they want to have a meeting to discuss what we're going to do? If you say this is what we're doing, why would you now come to say, we need to discuss how we're going to, because I told you what happened. I called and said the elections are over, and if the elections are over, we now have to move to having a discussion. They don't tell you that? Do you not see the evidence here? And I said, we're going to have discussions. Darwin did not show up. V-PAC did not show up. Darwin did not attend the meeting on 2 occasions so far, 3. So what am I supposed to do? Because you have so much to say here. Just give me some information, because I'm showing the facts. If they said there was an agreement, why are they asking us for us to have a discussion? And then we're going to have decisions made. Huh? We're too grown for this nonsense. And do not tell me that this is making the PPP look good. Anybody who would have 20 children born in a dorm, Adriana Young situation, Quindon Bakker situation, or in Boston situation, Dan situation, if you would tell me that those people look better now, something's wrong in your head, and I really can't converse with you. Let us deal with the evidence. Let us see here again. Reschedule again. All right. Look at the square brackets. We therefore urge that the leadership meeting be rescheduled at a time and place agreed upon by all partners. Look at this carefully. It is imperative, however, that the meeting take place before, in bold now, emboldened, before the formal convening of the 13th Parliament, so that we may enter the chamber with signed, legally enforceable protocols rather than ad hoc understandings. Do you know what it means? It means that there was an ad hoc understanding. Ask Francis what ad hoc means, please. If there's an ad hoc understanding of any arrangement, it means that it's not clear. So we have to now meet to make it clear. And they said it, legally enforceable, signed. So if we had an agreement, how is there nothing signed? There's nothing legally enforceable, and there's something called ad hoc. That's what they wrote, not my words. Francis, are you being truthful to the people of Guyana? Or you don't know about this? I'm taking it that you knew. You know about this. Huh? Why are you requesting that something must be legally enforceable? It shouldn't be ad hoc all over the place. It's because you know that there were discussions about possibilities. How are we going to function in reference to the seat that we have in the assembly? That was the discussion. How will we do it? We have to meet, we talk about it. You saying here that you want a meeting to talk about the same thing. Why? And you all are telling me that this makes sense? Oh my God. Listen to me. You are seeing evidence. You're seeing clear-cut evidence. Let's go here. Darwin is saying that V-PAC, Francis said that they were cut out, they were shut out, they weren't being informed. Okay. Okay, let's see here then. With particular reference, this way they're saying the message here, Darwin is complaining that they were cut out, they were shut out, and they were meetings ahead, and V-PAC was not informed. I want to show you evidence that Francis is talking about, and let's use them the truth. With particular reference to the minutes of September 11. So date is now mentioned here in this complaint. V-PAC was neither invited nor represented. Y'all see this here? V-PAC was neither invited nor represented, despite decisions taken on strategies against misinformation, parliamentary engagement, local government preparation. While these goals may be laudable in isolation, V-PAC cannot accept decisions that bind out partners without proper consultation. That V-PAC, Darwin is saying that V-PAC was not invited to a meeting out of which minutes were produced. Look at this. Take a look. Look at your screen. Final group. Look at your screen. September 11. You see Darwin said in reference to September 11, they were not invited. Look here. Meeting link, Google meeting link. Sent by Randy, Google meeting link for 7 p.m. Do you see the name Darwin at the top of your screen? Because Darwin was in yellow, Darwin was invited. Darwin never showed up to the meeting. But let me show you some evidence. When he said that, now you see here, for one, there was an invitation sent in the same group because the invitations were sent. But it went further than that. Take a look at your screen, please. When Darwin said that he wasn't invited to the meeting, that's when the messages were sent. Look at what I said to Darwin. Showed him a screenshot. Meeting link for 7 o'clock. I said this link was sent before the meeting, Darwin. You did not attend because he said nobody was invited. Look at what I said further. This was sent to the fan out group. The said link was also shared in the FGM general chat group. What are you really trying to accomplish here, bro? Houston, we have a problem. That's the reception when they're on a spaceship. Imagine somebody lodging a complaint that they weren't invited to a meeting, and then this is sent to you. What is worse is this here. Because I'm not going to allow you all to do this to a female. I tell you that no, not a woman of Amanda's caliber. You're not going to do it. This is here. I'm a bit slow, but if I recall, Rico, which is Sarah and Scarce, who started this whole foolishness and sending man the message and all that. Look, Ricardo was in the meeting. He was, and made about 2 to 3 contributions in the same meeting. Do you see this? How could V-PAC complain, Darwin, the leader of V-PAC, complain about not being invited to the meeting when Ricardo or Sarwin Scarce, a member of V-PAC, was in the meeting contributing what we should prepare for local government elections and all the rest of it? How does this make any sense to y'all, man? It's before you. This is a screenshot. And it has to be taken because I'm not tolerating this nonsense. So man said, Nigel, do you recall? I said, my response was, yes, I do recall. Rico was there. Okay, Nigel, when are you available to meet? Look at this, because Darwin has this complaint. So look at what I said. Tuesday, preferably in the afternoon. Do you see this here? This is garbage. This is before you. It is before you. Now, if somebody could come and show you the facts regarding, number one, they said there was an agreement. If there's an agreement among three parties, why did V-PAC ask for a meeting to discuss the way forward? You all tell me this, please. If there was an agreement, an understanding that's established, why is V-PAC saying we need to meet before Parliament so we can establish the way forward? I'll tell you why. Because in those discussions, in the said discussions, something significant occurred. I want to find it for you. I want to show it to you. Look at this. I want you all to see what V-PAC wrote. All y'all who hop around the places, if you have no sense about agreement and agreement because you want to take sides, take this side here, please. Originally, that's what V-PAC, Francis in here, a sharing percentage of 33 and a third over the 5-year governing period was discussed. Do you see that? And agreed to in principle. Now, Francis said they were a discussion, agreed on this, right? So there are possibilities being discussed, and they are admitted here. In the absence of a binding written agreement containing that clause, and to avoid ambiguity, I propose, the Invest proposes, the following binding interim formula for the initial 5-year tenure unless and until a full Congress or memorandum of understanding stipulates otherwise. What's the proposal? The 5-year term, 60 months, is divided into 3 blocks, 20 months each. 20 equal to 33 and a third of 60 months. Each party thereby holds a seat for 1 block. The initial occupancy order will be agreed at the convening meeting and inserted into a signed protocol. For heaven's sake, Lord help me this morning. Oh my God, this is it for me, right? Because if anyone here spent 20 minutes in a finalist class at Ifat University, you would have common sense. Because you seeing here black and white, where Darwin has admitted that there were discussions, and now you need to have a memorandum of understanding to establish exactly what you're going to do. Wait, y'all cannot be so stupid. You cannot be this idiotic to suggest that Amanza is unfair when V-PAC is admitting. You're admitting to something that we need to have a discussion. On 3 occasions, I showed up for a discussion. Darwin never came. You have evidence of him saying, listen, we didn't have the meeting before, we'll have another one. Never came. You have evidence where he sent on the 25th, 22nd of September, they're not coming to the meeting. So how are we going to establish the protocols, the order about how we move forward if he did not come and nobody from V-PAC came for us to establish exactly what we do with this 1-seat story? Y'all tell me, please. Do you not see what I said to you? That this has to be a deliberate effort to stain Amanza Walton's name for whatever reason? I know you want to add me to it. Y'all know better than that, Darwin and Francis. You know 10 times better than adding my name to any nonsense because I don't play that. I am not a politician who, I told you before, relies on politics to live. So you want to get me to cover nonsense for stupid people. Not me. If you behave as if you're doing good, we don't have a problem. Because you're wasting Chinese time and you're making this attack on a female very, very unfortunate. And it's for a reason. And I want to know who's behind this, who's orchestrating this attack on this one woman who people know that as the leader of Ford Ghana movement, and you have Azuddin Mohammed and Terence Campbell, among the 3 leaders, she's the only person with parliamentary experience. Is that the problem? Is there somebody who's edging, pushing, poking, probing, and maybe paying somebody to say certain things? So you can stain the name and the image of the person who is the only one among the 3 with experience in parliament. What's behind this? But since there's some slow ones at the back of the class, let me present you with a reality that you know about. There were 2 parties Now, if this one doesn't grab your attention, it means that you deserve to go into a center to be assessed as to whether you have common sense as a human being. Because I can't help you after this. There were two parties, APNU, AFC. Do you all remember that Guyanese people? Okay, perfect. Now, since you remember, since you're common, but there are three parties, you have to have one third split. Let me see if some of y'all have common sense left inside of you. APNU, AFC signed what's called the Herdman-Stud Agreement. Are you aware with that? Some of you don't because you don't follow news, but there was an agreement signed. And that agreement announced, all right, was announced. Let me see if you're still slow here. Because your argument and your reasoning is that if the three parties, tripartite arrangement, V-PAC, Ford Ghana, the People's Movement, they should be an equal sharing of the seats of the time. There was AFC and there was APNU. Was there a 50-50 split between the AFC and the APNU? No. So don't waste your time typing stupidness. The Herdman-Stud Agreement did not have anything called a 50-50 split because after all, we two parties. No. It was an understanding that if the APNU provides X number of candidates and AFC provides a lower number of candidates, then common sense says that APNU would provide or have the greater allotment of seats. That's common sense. How didn't AFC jump to say, "You're Robbie because we two, it's AFC and APNU, so it should be split 50-50." Did you see that? No. So let me take you to figures that matter. We contested in 7 out of 10 geographical constituencies. This is where you have facts. 7 out of 10 geographic constituencies. This required from GCOM 27 candidates for the geographic constituencies. 27. For the geographic constituencies, not the top of list yet, you had to have 27 names as candidates. You all sit back for the entree, for the main course, please. V-PAC provided the following. Let's begin with the first one, who said he was promised a seat. I was in that conversation, so I don't Francis saying, but he was promised, he said. Francis Michael Bailey, the same person who said, and you know me, Francis, right? Y'all who hop in here? No, let's start with Darwin Best. Darwin Best is a dual citizen, as Francis said. So Darwin had no interest in going to Parliament because he couldn't. So the leader of V-PAC could not go to Parliament. So that's out of the picture. Francis Michael Bailey said that he could not locate his national ID card. And as a result, unfortunately, he cannot be a part of any parliamentary arrangement. He would support the movement, but he cannot be a candidate. Oh, you didn't know that, huh? Did he say that last night? Did he tell you that? That V-PAC Francis, who was promised all these things, didn't have his ID card. So when we were preparing the list to send to GCOM, Francis said that, listen, sorry, I can't find my ID card for a few years and I couldn't find it, and I cannot be a candidate. Oh, Lord. Can somebody help Francis, please? Call Francis and give him some assistance, please, because this part will give him a heart attack. Because he forgot that. You know what had to happen? Huh? So when Darwin said that even the lead of the list was taken from them, no, it wasn't taken. Francis suggested, recommended that he not be added to it because common sense told him. He said, listen, can I use my passport? It was obvious. Jacob doesn't accept your passport when it comes to candidacy for local government, for general elections. So it couldn't happen. Francis didn't have an ID card, Mr. B-Man. So how would you be the leader of the list if you don't have an ID card? How would you be a candidate if you don't? So V-PAC has a problem. Darwin is a dual citizen. He wouldn't give up his citizenship just to be a member of parliament. That'd be bigger than that. And it makes sense. Francis didn't have an ID card. Key man number 2, no ID card. Let me tell you, and y'all tell me how Amanza is so dishonest. Right? The dishonest Amanza, who's so mean and everything else and hogging seats. Let me tell you what Amanza did. Amanza Walton Desir, and there's only so much I can say right now, but Amanza Walton Desir took it upon herself to get into an environment to say, hey, we need information on Francis Michael Bailey. What is his ID number? Give us the number, please. Because once you have the ID number, we can add it and GCOM will have it. Amanza did that. Now, if she wanted to shut out V-PAC, it's easy, because Darwin definitely cannot be a candidate. He's a dual citizen. Amanza, Francis told us, I don't have my ID card. It's an information sharing aid, Francis. You know my phone works well. Amanza said, no. I will go to this the extent to get this from somewhere, because I could get it done. Get the information to this and said, Francis, this is your ID number. Does that sound like somebody wants to hug some seat somewhere? Huh? Y'all following this stupidness instead of paying attention. You know me. And once you say I don't talk to me, y'all shouldn't speak. Because I don't play with this. We can get this right to move forward from here. He asked if he could use his passport, and the answer is no. He recommended that we put somebody else to be the deputy leader of the list because he can't do it. He doesn't have his passport. And she said, no, we're going to find your ID card. He doesn't have the ID card. We're going to get this information for you, not find your ID card. Once we get your ID number, that's what GCOM works with. Once you enter the number, your bio shows up. She did that. And that's, you know what happened after that? We had to, our agent or person agents had to rewrite the entire list because of Francis. Did they tell you that? Just to get him on the list, to rush to nomination day, we rewrote the list to have his name in there. Oh, but she wanted to hog the seat. Huh? No, the problem isn't over yet. Darwin Best said that in Linden, he has 2 people, at least one. Strong guy. I said, yes, perfect. We work with this fellow in Region 10 so that the People's Movement, Ford Ghana Movement, and others will share in reference to the candidate. So let's use your guy. He said, call this fellow as a person. When I met with the person, you know, the person said that they have to put certain things in place before they could be a candidate. I said, what's that? He said, because, you know, my job could be threatened and I could suffer victimization and so on. I said, man, come on, young man. If everybody says what you say, where will we go as a country? I said, I'm being victimized. It doesn't matter to me. He said he has to have certain things in place. In region number 10, he said he'd get back to me soon regarding the geographical candidacy. Never. I said, Darwin, where's a candidate? Nomination is approaching. We have to submit these names. Darwin, where's a candidate? Nobody. I said, Darwin, please. You know, Darwin Best said to me that this person was approached by a particular individual, and he was to be paid 12 or $15 million to be a candidate somewhere else. Does that sound like people I should do business with? Y'all know me. Because Francis said nobody could pay anybody in Redford. Him. But I'm asking the question, do you believe that me, this creature here, would tolerate anybody around me who somebody could say, listen, this person was paid to go somewhere else? Huh? Oh, it's not over yet. We had to have candidates. V-PAC provided 0. See the shape of this thing? 0 candidate in Region 10. Not even one name. So how do you now tell me that we're supposed to share something where out of all of these names, you couldn't even have one person to represent V-PAC in Region 10, but you must have a say in Region 10's councillor seat? Oh, let's go further. So we have no candidate in Region 10, no candidate from Region 2, none in Region 1, none, 0. The candidate for Region 6 didn't come from V-PAC. So AFC and APNU, let me bring you back in focus. They would have been APNU AFC coalition, a signed agreement. And in that signing, none of y'all said, you're unfair. It should be 50-50 because it's two parties contesting. No. In 2015, it was clear that because APNU has got more representatives on the list, AFC cannot have equal amounts. So what did V-PAC provide in terms of candidates? Francis was disqualified. A man went and found his ID information just to give him a chance to be on the list. That's how he got on the list. And he was made deputy speaker of the list. What goes further? Nicholas Chesney was the agent, the man with the power to maneuver arrangements at GCOM. Ricardo or Sarwin Scarce lives in the Bahamas. Out of 27 names for geographic candidates, V-PAC has 3 mentioned out of 27. That's 1/9. It isn't over yet. There's something called a top-up list, a national top-up list to make up the 65 seats in Parliament. That requires 42 names, 42 candidates. How many did the V-PAC? Because you have those on the geographic list would be on top-up list. 42 names. So let's give V-PAC 6 names, because another fellow from V-PAC who was supposed to be in Region 3 went to win. 2 of them gone to win. Now, are you expecting me to sit here and tell you that out of the regional candidates as well, 272, we must discuss the proportion of the representation on the list, if you want to be technical. But let me tell you why Amanza and I thought V-PAC were so unique. Do you know what we said? Let us discuss, as you saw Darwin Best say here, and admit to it, because he suggested it himself. Let us meet, and I put this back on the screen to haunt some of y'all. Let us meet to discuss or finalize, conclude on the way forward. For heaven's sake, y'all don't be silly, some of you. Why would V-PAC ask to meet to discuss something? And they said it was discussed and agreed to in principle it was. But in the absence of a binding written agreement containing that clause, I propose the following. Huh? Why would you have proposals made if something? You should have said, listen, it was established that it'll be 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, and now we expect nothing else. Man, is that simple to me? But I didn't say, listen, you only provide 1/3, you don't provide 2% of the list. None of that. Because the conversation was very simple. We will discuss how we go forward. Now, you're not going to have me sit here and tell you details of certain conversations, because I'm not going to do it. What I came to this morning is to show you if Francis is telling the truth. Can Francis tell me how Darwin spent $4 to $5 million? Do you ever, as an accountant, anybody knows maths in here, any accounting? Do you know any accounting or anyone who would say, well, you know, I spent between $4 to $5 million and tell that to GRA? Is that how it works? Because if Darwin spent $4 to $5 million on the campaign, he had to counter that in GRA. Would he tell GRA I spent $4 to $5 million on what? Meals in 6 weeks? So were you fed? You had a whole party to feed her. You had a bacchanal. We are not going to do this. So, Francis, how honest are you if you couldn't even tell people that you didn't have your ID card? How honest are you if you couldn't tell people that you disqualified yourself because you didn't have an ID card? And Amanda chose to find the information for you. You didn't find yourself. She found it for you. just for you to be where you are. You all have to be kidding me, man. So as I've said, I spend way too much time in this. It has distracted me from what I have to get done, but it's imperative that I do it. Because what you need to ask yourself is, why is this talk about it is imperative that before the assembly is convened, before you're sworn in, we must have this thing sorted out. I'll tell you why. Because the parliamentarians are sworn in first, then the regional councillors thereafter. People need to tell you very clearly who is behind certain negotiations. And for what I say to you, how is it possible when I speak to someone and I said, bro, you saw all these things that Ricardo would have been saying. Come on, man. What right does Ricardo have to speak to Manza or anybody in this manner? I'm not tolerating that kind of disrespect. Hear me? The person says, man, I couldn't really follow the conversation because I was on one of my boats, on one of the vessels. Doing what? Maybe you could tell the public about that. Barrett, is somebody back in business? Can you say? Was there any negotiation being made about Region 4 seat and Region 10 seat, especially Region 4? Was there anything being said? We need to know, because something is amiss. When people's behavior becomes so erratic and crazy, something is wrong. All right? So here's what's going to happen. Let me make it clear to you all. I have made presentations to you that end with this. You see this agenda here? See the agenda here? This is what was said. Darwin, V-PAC, you can show up to the meeting on Monday 22nd. The number of dates is incorrect, but you know it is Monday, September 22nd. Show up to this meeting. We had the meeting and the financial report was presented. V-PAC never came. Thank you, baby. To present Darwin, never came to present the $4 to $5 million breakdown. How are you saying you want transparency when you refuse to show up to the meeting where you saw on the agenda we'll discuss the financial report? So the financial report was presented and V-PAC was not in the room. Is it possible that V-PAC knew that they could not account for, Darwin couldn't account for his $4 to $5 million speech? Let me tell you further. The financials of Forward Ghana Movement is being further audited. Can V-PAC say that? Because I don't play with that. As the leader of Core Ministries International, they will tell you how I am. From the day the ministry began, I was launched, I said to our administrator, find me an auditing firm in the US that will audit and have within the archive of New Jersey the financial report of the ministry, because I don't play when it comes to money. Let them tell you about me. I said when the ministry was launched, I said, find an auditor, more so an international one, to audit. So the auditor said, what is wrong with it? Is there a problem? Did the court, when we went to the company to engage them, they said, did the court audit this? Because the fellow said he's never seen a church coming to ask for an auditor, an external auditor, unless a court ordered because there has some money promise. The administration said no. That is how our leader is. He believes in accountability and decency and transparency. So he said, you must audit from day one they face this ministry. In the archives of New Jersey, there is the record of the audited financials of Core Ministries International. You all chew on that. And if I could be that way, you think I'd be a part of anything where you could have money transaction done and there's no auditing? And there's no intense scrutiny of it, not over here. So let Darwin and Francis tell you all why they didn't show up with their financials to show what the money was, how the money was, this $4 million was spent. Let them tell you why, when we presented financials at the meeting, they were not present in the room. And I must further ask Francis Bailey to retract as quickly as he can this nonsense that he said, that I'm homophobic. I know what he's saying, and I'm not homophobic. Phobic is fear. I don't fear any man. That I'm against homosexuals, but he's showing people that I'm receiving donations from some man who's in with a man. And I'm saying, thank you, sir. But then I come back and say, I'm against homosexuals. Francis, if you don't retract that as quickly as possible, you know what happens to you. So don't do it. Do not play with me the nonsense. I do not receive from any homosexual people. And they come back and say, well, thank you. Go privately, say, thank you, sir. And they come back and say, well, I'm against this. Don't do it, Francis Bailey. There is an administrator who would have been receiving records of transactions. There's now an auditor, a company involved in auditing for the finances. So here's the deal. Those you have less than 2 ounces of common sense, I will not entertain you. Francis has a few pounds of common sense. So you want to paint the picture as though I am hypocritical, and you've said it, watch it, because you know me better than that. Do not worry about the state or the future of Ford Ghana movement. Rejoice in the fact that you have leaders in Amanza Walton Desir and Nigel London, me, who refuse to tolerate foolishness. This is not backyard, backdam politics. This is not going to happen. You're going to be proper, you're going to be honest, and you're going to not seek to disparage and destroy people's character. Now, if we could deal with leaders like this, think about how we'll deal with the nation. This is what you call integrity. Integrity doesn't mean afraid to tell the truth. Integrity and being strong doesn't mean that you have to give people the right impression of your party. You must be honest and straightforward. Let us know why there is this mad rush to attack Amanza Walton Desir. Break it down for us. Now, I'm certain that my sister, as I call her, my sister will speak and can speak for herself. But the natural tendency in me as a man is not to watch other men bully women, threaten women, try to intimidate and harass women for some very, very glaringly suspicious means. If Amanza Walton Desir's reputation is destroyed, the opposition is essentially done because they don't have anybody with experience leading the 3 groups. She's the only person with it. What will happen, therefore, is that there's a door that's still open for Francis Bailey to make it right, for Dow Invest to make it right. The door is closed to Ricardo or Sarwan's case because he's proven to be a mole. And I don't deal with moles. The others may be a mole, but I wouldn't say that yet. Because once you come around me, talking about I endorse racism and all this, but he could not say anything about Anil Nandlal's house slave. He couldn't say anything when Roman Singh put Amanza's caricature on a pole. Said nothing. So when African descendants have been disrespected, Rico's case is Sarwan's case is quiet. But when a man spoke to 2 different ethnicities, oh, he rush to talk? No. I've seen through a long time ago. So you're disqualified. And the fact that you went to Amanda Walton is a private inbox. After calling Sheena Nancy, you decided to go private to send a message, a threat, you are disqualified. With the others, you have a chance. Best, you have a chance. I thank you all. And as I've said to you, I spent 90 minutes, not wasting my time. But I can tell you this, I would not spend another minute unless Francis Bailey Darwin Best, to y'all decide to be extreme, knowing what I know. So watch it. Be careful. Watch it. Because we are in an information sharing age. And though you are specialists at recording people's conversations, watch it. We shall go forward with decency and order. We have 4+ years left, and I can assure all of the world that Forward Ghana movement will be 10 times stronger because we have people with clean hands left. Because you're not coming here with nonsense and escape with it. So anybody who wants to come to join this movement will know that, boy, if I only do certain things, these people deal with me publicly. So stop the nonsense about how it looks. It looks good. It looks perfect because you know why? We are showing publicly that you're not going to do these things and think that it be like the PPP where you just hide and talk in a corner about it costs you up, but nobody hears. Not over here. Not over here. Not ever. If you want to go public to try to stain and defame people, I will deal with you publicly. So you make the choice. And if you have any sense, you as a voter will say, hey, I could support this group because they don't play. They stand for the rights of women, they protect the integrity of people, and they don't allow people to lie and play games. So, because the strategy is, let's come out and say all these things. And because Nigel and Amanza want the party to look good, they wouldn't say anything. So we look like the good guys. No, not over here. Not over here. Those of you who committed to decency and order will love what's happening this morning because you know the truth. And if you're a female and you decide that you think it's wrong for me to defend a woman, get out of my face for quite a long time because I don't want to talk to you. I will not engage you. You become non-existent to me because women should not be treated this way. There are enough abusers in this country for us to allow another to rise in the scene. You're not going to be abusive to women. You will not do it. I thank you for your time. Bye.